Hey guys, what up? Total Control 871 chiming in with part two of the 2017 financial report. This is coming to us from CBS News.
My brother worked for GE and they were in the union, but during the year that they were laying them all off, 6 men killed themselves. My brother was one of them. You don't understand the human toll that comes along with people getting laid off. It's very emotional.
Together, we will make America great again.
That's right.
Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you. God bless America.
That was a good speech.
This is a portion of what used to all be industry here. This is known as 12th Street, and we used to call it the corridor. And we used to make everything from tires to heavy equipment to, stuff for industry and energy.
I mean, these are huge buildings.
Yeah, and they're some of the smaller ones, actually.
How long have those been sitting there like that?
Oh, decades. A lot of it's been tore down.
It looked like a graveyard.
It does, doesn't it? That's the story of a lot of Erie. It looks like a graveyard. When you strip better than 30,000 manufacturing jobs out of an area, this is what happens.
Sorry, now I just heard you sigh.
I was just thinking, I think that there's a portion of people that purposely drive a different way just so they don't have to see it.
Really?
Yeah, I do. It's very disheartening. This is from areas that experience mass layoffs. It's designed to try to stimulate.
Scott Slauson heads the union representing more than 3,000 GE workers in Erie, Pennsylvania.
Sure.
Much of his day is spent consoling workers who've just lost their livelihoods. A heavy burden to bear.
We don't like to see average, everyday working people lose their jobs. I mean, it's heartbreaking.
Does it make you fearful about where manufacturing is headed?
I think there's a general sense across the United States. I know up here, in what's known as the Rust Belt states, I'd say, yeah, absolutely. There's a fear of what direction are we going and how bad is it going to get. Donald Trump came here and he promised a lot of people that he would restore jobs in the United States. Desperate times call for desperate measures, and people will take a desperate position, even if it's not in our best interest sometimes.
That desperation stemmed from decades of economic decline, coupled with the sense that no politicians would stop the bleeding. Since its peak in the 1950s, Erie has lost nearly 30,000 manufacturing jobs. And despite being a union town that's voted blue since the Reagan years, Erie, like so many other manufacturing towns across the U.S., flipped for Trump.
The middle class is disappearing. The ability to have, a single job that pays the bills and pays for the mortgage and pays for your vehicle and puts food on the table, those days are disappearing.
I think it's hard to understand, at least I didn't understand until I came to Erie, how much of an impact this fleeing industry, these buildings, these jobs leaving, the kind of stress that puts people under. You hear about the job losses and the numbers, but until you actually see it, I don't think you have a true sense of what it has done to the community here.
We're driving through pothole West 12th Street. This is my hometown in all its pothole glory. was permanently laid off March of last year.
Okay, so you're gonna get a bowl or a burrito?
I don't know. I've never been here.
Todd is divorced, and his daughter lives across town with her mom. For father and daughter, volleyball and dinner is their special time together.
I got the corn sauce, that's good.
I've watched myself, as well as friends, lose jobs all over town. You have all these people that made, 30, 40 plus dollars an hour, and they're having to apply for these jobs. They're like $8, $10, $12 an hour. It's one of the most stressful times in your life. Or back in the 90s, I could leave one job at 7 a.m. and have another job by 8:30, 9 o'clock that morning. Literally. It's not like that anymore.
I know, this year went really fast. Like, really fast.
And you'll have your permit this summer.
Yeah.
That'll be crazy.
Yeah, I'll be the baby driver of the school.
It's okay. Told her for like a year I'm going to lose my job. So it kind of turned into the joke was like, you losing your job today? Did you lose your job yet?
What do you hope for your daughter? She's 16. She's going to be coming up here,
Wow.
graduating high school.
I have high hopes for her because she has high hopes. She wants to be a radiologist. Yeah, they can't outsource that, right? Right? I need a heart transplant. They're not going to ship me out someplace to get it done.
He doesn't know about the robot surgery.
He always tries his best, and he's come through a lot of tough things. Like, you could see him be stressed about what he was going to do for his job, or whether he was going to go into schooling or not, which was hard. Like, it's kind of hard to see a parent struggle when they're just trying to do everything they can for you, going to different jobs just to try and be near me in life. It always makes me a priority.
Is the American dream broken?
It was. But as you can see from the election that people are trying to get it going again.
Do you think that's really what this election was about?
Yeah. I mean, because if you see who really won the election, who made the turnaround, the Rust Belt, the states that were always Democratic, now we're being overtaken by the workers who have either been outsourced, outplaced, forgot about, had their backs turned on them. They had enough. It's unique.
Erie's labor force has dropped by nearly 12,000 in the last decade. The population has dipped under 100,000 people. Throughout town, you can see and feel the uncertainty.
My one economic professor, he always says, like, we're very thankful that you all come to learn here, but we kind of hope that you stick around. And you've used this human capital and what you've learned to improve Erie. I mean, he's kind of right. I mean, a lot of people, they get their degree and they walk the stage and then they'll never step foot in Erie County again.
Like a lot of manufacturing towns, Erie's losing many young people. Justin, Grant, and Matt will soon graduate from college, and the prospects aren't great.
This is, a town where there's so many generations of people. You watch the population decrease here, and it's like, what is this town going to look like in 10 or 15 years?
Exactly. My parents are both from Erie. Mom went to Villa, Dad went to Prep. I would love nothing more than to have a family here and just keep trying to improve Erie. When all these businesses are leaving, it's probably going to be tough to find a job here that's, good paying. So
you think you're going to have to leave?
I think so. I think that's kind of inevitable almost,
Oh, wow. Touchdown. Hi, how are you? I'm Jamie.
I'm Sean.
Nice to meet you, Sean. Hi.
And I'm Patrick.
Patrick, nice to meet you. I'm Jamie. Oh, are these all the grandkids?
Yep, this is Justin. These are the identical twin grandsons.
Oh, my goodness. That's so cute.
The Gallaghers have seen their hometown fall into economic turmoil over 3 generations. This past election, they said they could no longer sit and let it continue.
I've been a registered Democrat for over 50 years.
50 years. And did you vote for Donald Trump?
I had to.
There's so many frustrated people with the local leaders not being able to help them, that they said, let's see what Donald Trump can do. He made these campaign promises, and one by one, he's starting to check them off the list. It is nice to see that elected leader at the national level is acting on his campaign promises. Local leaders in Erie, they don't always act on what they say they're going to act. They want to be heard. Their voices want to be heard. At some point, if I have to run for office to see change, then I'll do that.
Our Republicans.
Start our first motor starter.
We are in the classroom section at the Erie Institute of Technology. This is where a number of laid-off workers have come to get retrained into new skills and basically get trained into jobs that they've never done before in a relatively short amount of time. And what's fascinating to me is that they are all middle-aged white men who I think their families are very dependent upon them working.
Make sure you get that disconnect.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you ever think that this is what you would be doing?
Well, you would have told me 3 years ago that I'd be in school at 54 years old. I would have told you were crazy.
So what made you come?
Well, I lost my job a year ago yesterday, and really didn't have any options. Guess it's time to reinvent myself.
Jim is married with a daughter and a 5-year-old grandson. He has lived most of his life in Erie.
There are a lot of people who hope jobs and manufacturing jobs come back to this area. A lot of people in this last election voted for someone they think can fix the economy. Do you think who's in office now can fix the economy?
Well, I certainly hope so. I think it's our last chance because election after election is just getting worse and worse. So myself, I voted for Trump because, like I said, status quo wasn't doing it anymore. So got to take a gamble. They're just picking on him because, they like to pick on him. I mean, he's a target. He's wide open. He asked for it.
This program has given you new hope?
Oh, definitely. It changed my life. It gave me the opportunity to learn a new trade.
What would you have done without the program?
I shudder to think about it. I mean, I would have got a job, maybe 2 jobs, but I definitely would have still tried to move even without the schooling. Erie is definitely a sinking ship, and it'd be crazy not to get off a ship that's sinking. One thing that really kept me around as long as I did was, a good job like GE, you just can't. It's hard to leave a job that you make, really good money. So, but then when they laid me off, and that was the decision. It's time to leave. I landed a job in New Mexico where I'll be relocating.
Did you feel like you wouldn't be able to find a job here in Erie?
Well, you could find a job here, but I would be making less money than people at Walmart.
Really?
Less than $10 an hour for HVAC in Erie. Just like I said, time to get out of this town.
Up on campus, I almost always look like an executive or something. Like amongst the college crowds.
What are you going to do when you're done with school?
Well, I guess I'm gonna try to get that job at GE, but I mean, there's none to apply for. And I have a couple of friends that are engineering interns, and the one has put in 40 applications. His GPA's 3.8, 3.9, and he hasn't heard back or anything.
So what's he going to do?
Well, we've been discussing about moving. just we always kind of throw it out there, and we'll go on to Realtor.com and look up houses in Texas, or then I'll get on, hey, why don't we move to Nashville? And then we're looking up houses in Nashville.
Grandpa, how does it make you feel to hear him talk about potentially having to leave?
I'll tell you, he adds a lot of life to my old life, He really makes Grandma and I feel pretty good. I'd like to see him stick around, but I don't think he's going to be able to.
That obviously impacts him to hear you say that.
Holy shit. Oh, man. It's tough. You got to go where the money is, though. So, I mean, if you can't find a job around here, you got to go elsewhere. Oh, man. First time a tear rolled down my face since Donald Trump won. I want to see positive change. I want to see positive change for Erie County and Pennsylvania and the country. So regardless who's in office, I just want them to enact policies that will help Americans, help lives.
Okay, guys, I'm just gonna stop it there. That's a really long clip. It's about 20 minutes, and this phone has extremely limited memory, as we saw last time. I ended up getting cut off. All right, so yeah, this is the part 2, 2017 financial report. First part, we dealt with robots taking everybody's jobs, and second part here, we see whose jobs have been taken. We see the sister, her brother killed himself from the financial collapse of the economy. I believe I spoke of this in, about a year ago, Fiscal Backdraft, Jewish Bully video, something along those lines. I predicted it. Again, when you are, it's not that I have some magic crystal ball, it's just that when you are on the proletariat's level and you are living it, you know, a lot of these talking heads, the anchors, they sit at their desks, they come from extremely affluent, white, sheltered communities, and they get these experts on their, news talk shows and, what does the government study say? What does the survey say? What do the polls say? I don't need any of that shit, Sometimes people will even challenge me online. Oh, you say all these things, but where's your proof? I'm living the proof. I live the proof. I live the proof in the woods. I couldn't help but wonder if the news correspondent had to bite her tongue as the father extolled his hopes for his daughter to become that cardiologist or radiologist or whatever it was, that saying that you can't outsource that. Yeah, they already have robots. Don't be surprised if, should you need open heart surgery, bypass surgery, this surgery, whatever surgery, it's going to be Sandermeer from the Middle East, and he is going to be doing this remotely. Trust me, big insurance doesn't give a shit about American culture, your white culture, your blue-collar culture, Democrat, Republican. They really don't give a shit who can get this done the cheapest fashion whatsoever. I also came across a report a couple of months ago. They are ratcheting up, what was it? Was it a nurse or was it the registered nurse? Registered nurses, or nurse practitioners. There you go. They're ratcheting up their capabilities, or it may have been registered nurses. All I know is that they are taking carte blanche to make people who are not doctors more like doctors, and quite frankly, they really don't care if your quality of care ends up suffering or you get impacted on that. It's all about their bottom line. They really don't care about your culture, your whatever. We also saw, as the correspondent pointed out, all middle-aged white men. The good old boys, the blue-collar good old boys. Now, granted, they were faux Democrats. Oh, we've been solid blue since the Reagan era. You're not true Democrats. You never really were. New Jersey is what I like to call a purple state. It is a red state that masquerades as a blue state. A lot of the ideology is actually very, very Republican. I couldn't help but wonder how many of those middle-aged white men probably had a lot of finger wagging and judgmentality of minorities such as myself, who probably, they're not hard workers, they're not this, those black ghetto people, they made their bed and they need to lie in it, lock them all the hell up, lock their black asses up. Now, some may have had those sort of sentiments and some may not. They went where the money was. They voted with their wallet, foolishly. This is probably going to be a part 3, but Donald Trump is not going to bring back their job. They are now getting a taste of what low-income minorities have had to cope with our entire lives. You know, you scoff at those Walmart jobs, but little do you know, so many minorities are very grateful to have them, and they desperately try to make it work. And I get it, you know, they're multi-bedroom houses, you know, SUV cars. You're right, you can't afford that shit on Walmart salaries. Take it from me, I know. Why do you think I live in a tent in the woods? Why do you think I ride a bicycle? You know, why do you think my life has fallen apart the way that it has? But yeah, Donald Trump's not going to bring these jobs back. The problem is not finding somebody that's really good at making the art of the deal. That's not the issue. The technology is obsolete. Everybody went ape shit bananas crazy over the United Asian doctor got dragged off the plane and whatnot. Quite frankly, I was a little bit more incensed that people weren't showing that kind of outrage and enmity toward the young boy that was sexually assaulted by TSA security. That's a whole nother argument. People have just simply been terrified into surrendering their rights there. But I can't help but wonder, you know, I might have to say that argument for part 3 of this blog, but I think aviation, transportation, we're about to see a radical fundamental change, and I think it's going to happen when we see the next generation of power cell battery. We have drones. Just jump into your YouTube search box and look at the EHAN 184. EHAN 184, I believe it is. It is basically, it's a gigantic ass quadcopter, you know, a drone big enough to carry a mid-sized human. I believe these flying cars are the future. They're just simply limited right now because they're all electric, they're all power celled. Those guys, you know, in that trade school, the middle-class white men in the trade school, I hope you were learning solar, you know. And then there's arguments there, you know, solar will never ever be as lucrative as oil. You're probably right, you know. Oil is a finite resource, solar is not. Solar you really don't need. It's not that expensive of a process. People who have these solar panels on the top of their houses and paid 20, 30, 40,000 fucking dollars for these solar panels, boy did you get taken to the cleaner. Trust me, the materials that's used to make this stuff, it's not that expensive. You're being tricked into thinking that it is. Hold on a second, I want to see how much time I got left here. Okay, this is about to cut off. Yeah, so guys, I'll do part 3. I'll put the link of that CNN page down below, and you can check out the whole video for yourself. But yeah, it's getting ugly, so Total Control 871. Stand by for part 3.